Sad?
Oh,
he's upset about his computer.
Computer, okay, so we gotta tell you something.
Computer game.
Usually we don't like to talk about all the prostitutes and drugs backstage, but this is important. Mike Warhouse a prostitute.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, damn it.
Richard Norton was working on his computer, his laptop.
Yeah.
And next to it there was a tall glass of coffee.
Coffee.
And Mike Warhouse, before our vendors room jam just now, Mike Warhouse reached for his bass, knocking over the coffee and spilling it all over the computer. And we all were commenting later that for 15 seconds, we all stood there and went, oh, ooh, and no one did anything. There too, everyone was like, oh, God, really? It's the worst. But there were coffee just spilled all over the computer. Then ultimately, we all leaped into action and tried to dry it off.
I wasn't there for this. I came back and Rob was telling the story to me. I'm like, it sounds like what stoners do in a crisis. Oh, man. And coffee's getting everywhere. Man, look at that.
So yeah, that happened. Coffee gate, computer gate.
Yeah, that's why Norton was so sad on stage. Yeah. Norton, a computer with Norton.
I don't know.
An analog Norton.
I don't want to live in that world.
Yeah. You know who didn't live in that world? Norton.
So that happened. Oh, and also normally this is a three-way panel with Matt Cohen here, but he is unable to join us because he's shooting a movie.
It's today
Matt Cohen's birthday.
It is, right?
Wait a minute. Shooting
shooting a movie. So here's what we do. We should rub things up about. Just film a little song for Matt that we will then send. Well, we'll keep for ourselves. We won't send it to Matt. But maybe if he's near us, we'll let him watch it on our phone.
Should we go? How about we go? You say it's your birthday, and the audience who goes na 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 na, and then you back to me and I go, it's my birthday too, yeah, a week ago.
Great, and then start happy birthday. You ready?
And then start the song?
And then start happy birthday. So do that whole bit, and then you gotta sing all happy birthday. Ready?
You say it's with your... Take two, two takes. No, take two. Come on. You say it's your birthday! It's my birthday too, yeah! A week ago.
Matt, it's Rob.
Hey Matt, it's Rob.
It's Rich, and it's Faith.
It's our panel, Matt, and we miss you, and it's your birthday.
There's your memorial chair.
You did your memorial jump.
And we memorially tore you in half.
That's right.
Rob, get it started.
Happy birthday to you.
To you, Matt Cohen.
Happy birthday to you.
And your moose knuckle.
Happy birthday, dear Matthew. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday!
My question is for you. It's an inside joke, Matt. I think you get that.
You'll get it. You know the story.
Guys, it's Matt Cohen's birthday. He's doing a movie, so it's me and Rich on stage with you guys. So ask and we will answer.
Let's get it started, right?
Hi.
Hey.
Sorry, short. Okay, so what is the most annoying thing about the other person, but what is also your favorite thing about the other person, referring to you two?
So about each other?
Yes.
Here's the most annoying thing about Rob Benedict. People don't know about Rob. He's an incredibly fast pooper. And you know it's true, Rob. You know it's true. And it's annoying because I'm like, how can a man who abuses so many substances have this healthy a colon? And I feel I have colon in me. Because he literally goes through and he's like, Rich, we're gonna go, I'm gonna go drop a deuce. I'm back. I'm like, what do you mean? And then he's like, I couldn't unbuckle my pants in that amount of time. And he's gone in, made a brown deposit in the water bank, and come back out, clean as a whistle. And I just, you're a national treasure. Rob Benedict, everybody. And, literally, hashtag rapid poop.
Hey, when you got it, you got it.
Own that.
Yeah. what's your favorite thing about me?
Rob is one of the funniest people I've ever, well, as a friend, funny, but to work with Rob and do work with Rob as a writer and as a directing Rob and acting Rob, he's a phenomenal talent. It's a phenomenal.
Thank you. I think I have the same thing. The thing that I don't like about Richard is that his humor is cutting and off-putting, and will throw me under the bus at the drop of a hat. The thing I love about him is his humor is incredible and smart and quick and funny, and it's my pleasure to be under his bus.
Well said. And let the fan art begin. Thank you. Right there.
Hi, what is something dumb or funny you did as a teenager? Because I recently let my friend do an AKF tattoo on me and it didn't turn out well.
Oh no!
You let your friend do a tattoo on you?
I'm allowed to get small symbolic tattoos, but my friend in the audience, he did an AKF on my leg. It does not look good.
Right up here, Junior. What's your name? Luke? I'm Rich, that's Rob. Come here. Right here, buddy. Face that way. We're gonna need, everyone's gonna need to get the...
Oh, the F just doesn't look like an F.
Always keep calling?
Well, yeah, you can easily get that fixed.
AK, it's C, but then it's got a line, it's sort of like AK, comma, C. Oh no, I didn't want to emulate Jared's writing. It's like always keep, comma.
It's always keep Chuck.
There you go. Luke, it's not great, but it's not terrible and it's fixable. Yeah, it's good. Rob, dumb things you did as a youth.
No, you said it.
See you.
Let's see. Dumb things, lots of dumb things. I let my friends put me in a dryer. Yeah.
Terrible idea.
Oh, the sad part is I fit. I did. Yeah, I did. I let them. And they turned it on, yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah. They're not nice people.
Oh, they were there. Are you sure these were friends?
One of them was you. No, they did. But they turned it off right away. Yeah.
Oh, well. It's like they're living on fire, but they lost it.
Yeah. Yeah, the tattoo's better.
I'm trying to think of what, I mean, Lord knows I've done a litany of dumb things. I'm trying to think of something in my teenage years that was really stupid. Crap. Because I know I did dumb things, all kinds of dumb things. I mean, just dumb things right and left. So one dumb thing after another.
Like TP someone's house.
That's not dumb. It's just solid
Wait till
entertainment.
somebody TP's your house.
Yeah, good point. But yeah, I TP people's houses, but I stand behind those choices. What dumb thing did I do? This is kind of a dumb thing where in my senior prom, I took a gal, obviously, took a date, and I was the president of the school. So I was at the head table with the headmaster and the other senior faculty. And at some point in the middle of the headmaster's speech, I knocked over my soda. Just knocked over. And so, if you're my date, I knocked over the soda, and everybody looked and I went, and I blamed my date.
You're such a jerk.
We didn't date again. No, actually, it was Sarah. It's somebody I'm still friends with. Yeah, I've known this girl. We're still great friends. But to this day, I bring that up. It chats her high. She doesn't find it funny this many years later. So that wasn't a class act. That wasn't a classic. No, I'm gonna go with that one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Luke. Absolutely. Yeah, that was a real jerk move. Blame your date while a table full of,
Yeah.
couples stare at you like you just messed up. Not good. Not cool.
I got my ear pierced, which I don't regret, but they wanted me to cut my hair and take my earring out for this play that I was doing. And I think back at this all the time, especially as like a committed actor, I was like, not doing it. Especially like in the army in the play, I was like, not doing it. I'm gonna take my earring out. You can't make me. What the hell was
starting senior year of high school, all the senior football players, we all got flat tops. We went to the barber and flat top. But I'd never shaved my head for the other years, so I was like, that was the running gag, like, oh, long hair here. And my hair was not long. I went to prep school, so it was not long, but it wasn't shaved. And finally, senior year, I'm like, I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna go like, get it kind of like almost style the way Billy has it, like where it's short, but it's kind of long short, and you can style it up. So I'm gonna do a thing. So my buddy Dave took me to like a barber, like not the barber shop, the $5 barber that gives you the flat top with the wax, but took me to like a different place where she was gonna give me the style. She cut it short, and I'm 18 years old, and I'm 18 going on 13 emotionally. Like, I was just a young looking kid, slow to trickle into the adult world. This lady's brushing the hair up. She had product in it. And she was, kind of laughing with us about, getting this done. And she brushed it up and brought the hair dryer and started blow drying the hair. In the middle of doing that, she leaned over and she said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to charge you for the blowjob."
I'm listening.
Well, she's had my attention because other than my physician, that was a no-go zone, So I was like, ah! I didn't know what was going on, and I realized she's hair blow drying my hair, and I guess there's an upcharge for that, but that's not what I immediately thought. So I literally had an awkward moment and panicked. And Dave and I got out there and immediately made him drive me to the other barbershop and shaved it all off.
No.
Yeah, so I ended up with the flat. I don't know, man. The whole sexual connotation of my hair. I figured my parents would see my hair and know. I don't know. It just threw me off.
She didn't do anything.
No, she just did her job. She cut your hair, my hair. Use a blow dryer to dry it there. I know. But hey, listen. She's not guilt-free. That's not a lot of,
She knows what she's doing.
Poor choice of words.
But I love that you were like, "You're not my doctor."
Is it what I know? Anyway,
Hi. So my question's for both of you. If either of you could be any superhero or supervillain, who would you be?
Aquaman. Call me Aquaman. Just because I think it'd be cool to be able to breathe underwater. Because I love scuba diving. And I think it'd be cool to just be able to be underwater.
I have a funny side story. On the way here, Jason Momoa was sitting in front of me on the airplane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's a very tall, strapping fellow. And I've never felt more safe on a plane. If it goes down, or if it gets hijacked or whatever, you're gonna fucking Aquaman.
And my mind immediately went to, what's he doing on Southwest? Right? Right in the back row.
I honestly thought, is there another con in town? Anyway, Aquaman was on my plane, different class, but he was in the first class, and I was that first row behind.
Let me tell you something. I don't know if I'd be able to stoked if Aquaman was on my plane, because the plane starts going down. He's not gonna panic.
He's like,
I go right in the water and just crawl out. You? Not so much.
I could be like, "Save me, Aquaman."
If you say it like that, he's gonna keep walking. He's not
Swimming.
Yeah.
I think I'd be, it's hard to say. I think I'd be Superman. Because I really would like to fly and be stronger than anybody else. And just still be an all-around good fella.
I remember Mad Magazine years ago, did one of their little panel cartoons was things you don't normally see superheroes doing. And I don't remember any of the other ones. This one made me laugh. It was like a guy working on a typewriter, he's old, in an office, and behind him there's a window, and you just see a finger in the window, and it was Plastic Man giving the guy the 32nd floor the finger. Like, just shooting the bird.
Wait, Plastic Man just stretched out?
Yeah, Plastic Man giving the guy the 32nd floor of the finger.
It's like a finger against the... Funny.
Yeah.
And villain, I guess the Joker.
Is he a superhero?
She said or villain. Oh, I thought it's not and, it's or.
Could be. Okay.
I thought I had to give both answers.
Joker, that's good, yeah. Which incarnation of the
I'm
Joker?
kind of interested in this new one.
Yeah, me too. So you want Joaquin.
Yeah, Joaquin, although Heath Ledger forever.
But I think there's something fun in seeing him, and like, you know, I have a sentimental attachment to Jack Nicholson, darn it, you know, like, so this is all, you know, whatever. Thank you.
Hi, I just want to let you guys know that you guys are awesome sauce. My question is for Rob. If, as US guy, I'm sorry, the reason why that you killed Jack was not because he was stronger than you, but because you lost, because no one had faith in you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I agree with that. I would say I was frustrated that they weren't doing what I was asking them to do, and I was a little, you know, worried about the strength that he had possessed, the potential that he had. But yeah, no, you're not wrong. I think that has a lot to do with it. Very well done. As per usual, you guys know can analyze the script probably better than I can. My job is just to play the role I've been given and the direction I've been given. But you can kind of look back and go, oh, but that means this and that, you know what I mean? I think in a lot of ways you can analyze it better than me.
Very cool. Over here.
Hi guys, sorry I was chatting.
No worries.
My question is, what's your favorite memory of your friendship thus far?
Favorite memory, favorite friendship memory?
Yeah, thus far.
There's so many, man. I mean, like a lot of it, there's so many great stories.
Yeah, a lot of great stories. Maybe this is cropping up because I was telling the story last night. But one of my favorites, this is going to sound like an odd friendship memory, was Rob and me sitting in the green room in San Francisco last year, watching our sons make a movie of them beating each other up. And I was like, there goes the Spade Benedict, 1-2 punch down to the next generation. I thought that was fun. It's fun to know somebody well enough to also know their kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's become a thing now. They made 3 or 4.
It's unbelievable. The Spade boys and the Benedict boy, and I guess Audrey's been involved a little bit, but mainly it's your son.
She's done some camera work.
Yeah, but they literally make these videos where it's just, all it is a fight sequence. And it's 7 minutes of absolute carnage. And we were at Rob's house not long ago. My wife and I are sitting outside with Rob chatting, and they'll run through with like a frying pan. I'm like, is that? Okay. And sure enough, they had done this whole blood take where Calvin had hit one of my sons with a frying pan, and he had then spit ketchup all over the wall for a blood take, which, by the way, cut together great.
It's awesome.
It looked great. They put on the sound effect, but they had beat the crap out of each other. And the first time they let my youngest son be involved, because he was not allowed to be in the movies for a while because he was the youngest. He had to do all the low angle camera work, but he couldn't actually be in the movie. They let him be in the movie when we went to Missouri. And he was so fired up, we walked outside this apartment complex where Rob's mom lives, and he's like, look, Dad, I've learned to do stunts, and proceeded to fling himself down the concrete stairs. I'm like, that's not stunt work, son. And then turned to the boy like, gosh, I know you encouraged him to do that. Don't do that.
It's a great scene where his youngest, Frank, gets thrown down the stairs and then has to stay there sort of dead on the stairs as the other boys like run past him.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
The videos are awesome.
Although there are some things they still have to learn about stunts that you don't have to do. Like there was a scene in the most recent one they did where one of your boys, I think, sprays my son with SPF spray. So he's like, get off me, and really doesn't. I was like, we don't have to actually, you barely see that on camera.
Yeah, all you do is add the sound effect, but no, and Calvin hit me.
Oh yeah, Calvin's like, let's do another take, yeah. My son is kind of like, he does that, he brings that on.
Well, he's the EP, so he makes all the decisions.
Yes, he does.
His baby.
But yeah.
Anyway, thank you. Over there?
Yeah.
Hi, is there going to be any more Kings of Con?
We don't know. Robbie and I are on the precipice of making a decision about that. And I'll tell you this, you know, we'll make an announcement either way soon, but most likely it won't be another series. It might be in another form. So, to be continued. We'll get back to you on that online.
But I think it's safe to say the Kings of Con are not dead.
They're not dead.
And we're excited.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for your question. Yeah.
Hi, my question is for Rob. At the end of the season, we kind of find out that God orchestrated this whole perfect ending between Jack and Dean. Do you think that Jack's sacrifice for the Winchesters was because their bond was real, or because God was sort of pulling the strings a little bit?
Ooh.
I think their bond was real, but I think the point is, I think God at least thinks that he's pulling the strings behind everything. So his chess pieces that he places on the board, he knows which ones are gonna magnetize, who's gonna go to where. So, you know, he did set this up, and you know, so everything's real. He said he's the puppet master behind it all, and what God wanted in that scene was this big dramatic thing where Dean had to, you know, kill Jack, and that was this big dramatic thing, thunder, and, you know, he wanted this big, huge thing. So he knew that their bond was real, like he thought that this had to happen. You know, there was, yeah. So I think a lot will be explained in this next season, but yeah, I think that's where he was sort of coming from. That makes sense. So their bond is real, but I think he feels that he sets all of it up. He does write it all out. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope that makes a little bit of sense, but feel free to chime in.
No, I was laughing that she asked a question, which is a legitimate question. You were like, oh! Like you can give the wrong answer? Like, it's still an affirmative answer.
I know, exactly.
Oh boy!
Yeah, here we go. From the man himself.
Yeah, alright, right out there. Right there.
Hi, first off, I love y'all. You're amazing.
Thank you.
So if you guys could make a buddy cop movie with God and Gabe, what would it be called, and who would be the good cop and the bad cop?
Turner and Hooch, and I would be the dog. Thank you for your question.
Yeah. He'd definitely be the dog and the bad guy.
Yeah, right, you're right.
Bad cop.
You.
Hi, I'm Melody. My question is for Richard. I wanted to ask, what would Gabriel's reaction be to God in the final episode about what he did with the brothers and Jack?
I don't think Gabriel thought God was all that great a dad to start with, so he'd be going, see? You know what I mean? He'd be going, I told you guys, not a great dad. Not very kind or empathetic. So I think obviously it would be, if he were really involved, it'd be very challenging for Gabriel, because obviously that's his father, but he's also been on the side of humanity. But I do think he would take some sort of solace in getting other people to realize what he's always said about his own dad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you ever seen Succession on HBO?
No, that's a big conversation on that show.
It's a really, really good, well-written show, well-acted show, but the family on that show is not unlike God and his boys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Everybody, especially this weekend, fans and friends alike have been talking about that show. I need to start watching.
Yeah.
You, right there.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you guys for making me love just the whole concept of acting, because I'm trying to get into drama club at my school and trying to get better at being in front of a lot of people. So you guys really helped with that. Gabriel was a big inspiration on the show for me, that I really wanted to learn about that. Also, sorry for being awkward during the photo that we had, Rich. But the question was, if Gabriel was in the last episode of the season finale, what do you think he would have done?
Coming up, series finale or season finale?
Season finale.
I think he would have brought more strippers.
See?
To light
You
the
see,
mood. I
that's
just
what
don't
we're working
think there were enough strippers.
My son.
You know what I mean? Too much this, not enough drinky, strippy. You know what I mean? Thank you for your question. Yeah.
Hi, I want to ask if you could do an impression of one of the cast members of the show.
Impression of one of the cast members?
Sure, yeah. And
Yeah.
You can choose whichever cast member you want.
What was the last statement?
Choose any cast member you want.
Oh,
We got good invitations of a lot of them.
yeah, well, I think the funny thing about Jensen Ackles is that Jensen Ackles has become a parody of himself. And if you've been coming to cons long enough, you know what I'm talking about. Like, we started pointing out things about him, like the comedy elbows and things like that he does. You're like, what are we doing? No, doing a bit? All right.
And you choose invisible bubble gum.
He licks his lips before he's going to say something funny. This is one of his favorite bits. He loves that bit. But he literally does the thing. He'll walk on, as a director, obviously I work with those guys in that capacity, and he literally walks on going, what are we doing? Huh? And I'm like, hi, you did the thing. What did I do? You said, what am I doing? Well, what are we doing? I want to know what we're doing. How else am I supposed to ask, what are we doing? But I'm walking in here saying, what are we doing? I said, that's fine. But if you ever hear Mick Jagger at a restaurant complaining about the service and he says, I just can't get no satisfaction, it's funny because he's saying the thing that we know that he says out of context of the joke, bringing it back to the joke. So you go walking in and going, what are we doing? What are we? You're doing the thing. It's been funny being working with him and like, Robert and I come out and before the last question was cemented as part of the panel, Robert and I make comedy decisions in a vacuum. We don't tell people. So suddenly Norton's playing that song where we're running around. Since it's like, what are we doing? Is it time to run around like idiots? Yeah. And then literally he was like, what are we doing? We're doing a bit? All right. Even still, we've been doing last question for a long time, and whenever we come out on stage, he goes, watch it tomorrow. It's just, his eyes, without asking, are saying, what are you doing? And then we go, and then Rich, then we yeah, oh, we're doing it. Even when he walks over to you to talk into the song, he's like, this last question? Wrapping it up? That's what we're doing? Okay. And he starts singing. He does a really good Jensen Ackles imitation.
He does, yeah.
Right off the song. So that's why Jensen Ackles. Robert?
I was just trying to think, Jared is, besides of course like the hair, you know, you can always just do the hair vibe.
Right.
The hair's getting in his way. But there's something like pretty intense about, it's fast talking about Jared, okay, so what's your name? What's your name?
Claudia.
Claudia, it's fine. Yeah, Claudia, it's fine. Claudia, thanks so much. This is the last question. Thanks so much. Oh, what's it? You know what I mean? Like, he's always like, say hello to the supernatural audience. Say hello to Claudia. So, he's like,
I never really thought about that, but you're right. He does do that. And that's got to be really intimidating. I know. You've been watching on TV, and now you have this, you know, big bird-sized human coming at y'all, elbows, you're like, hey!
it's so yeah, and he's very, when he comes and gives me a hug, I'm always like,
We're now into the ears of the person.
yeah.
Like, push up attention. What are we doing? Scene.
So, I
Well, I think acting, writing, directing, we've dabbled in all three of those. I think for me, they're such different animals, to be honest. I mean, I love acting. I'm loving directing right now. It's super fun for me to do. I enjoy, when you're acting, you're paying very close attention to your character and your story and putting all of your energy into embodying that. And you don't get to embody anything as a director, but you inhabit all those characters mentally as the director, and so instead of focusing on one thing, you're focused on all things. And I find it fascinating to every now and then be the chess player, not the chess piece. But I enjoy both equally, and they're both equally artistically satisfying in different ways.
Yeah, I mean, I have a similar answer. I don't direct, but I love writing is my sort of the thing that I love doing, and producing things that I've written, like we did in Kings of Con, and like I did in this short film I did called The Sidekick. That was very gratifying, and I'd like to do more of that. Yeah, it's just incredibly gratifying to have control over your work in that way. I mean, especially when you produce your own writing. Certainly you don't have as much control if you write something and just kind of give it to someone else to make, but I do like producing things that I've written. But, all that being said, acting is really my main joy and my main passion, and you know, the thing I've been studying for so long now, so that really is my true love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right here.
Hi. So my question is, you both played a couple different iterations of your character. I want to know what your favorite iteration is and why.
Favorite iteration of our characters? It's a tough question. I don't know if I have a favorite. One thing I really enjoyed, because I don't think that this is not a favorite thing, but I'm glad that I was able to play. I'm glad the writers, Meredith, the producers, decided to bring actual Loki into the show. I think that was cool. Because obviously if the trickster had been pretending to be him, it was fun to sort of follow that storyline. So I enjoyed discovering what that character was for the show. What did I do?
I don't know, my initial response is like I've got a soft spot for the drunken hermit that was Chuck in season 4, season 5. And there's something really fun about that guy and the sad convention that he had, and his relationship with Becky, and those things I have a soft spot for. All of that being said though, one of my favorite episodes I ever did was the one with Curtis Armstrong, where I sing fairly well and kind of officially come out as God. So that I really, that meant a lot to me. I mean, the God part of Chuck is something I don't take lightly, and that I feel I always feel like it's kind of an honor to be given that big of a kind of idea to play. So, you know, that too.